topic in 12th physics or plus 2 science physics, that is electrostatics of conductors. Next we will see about what is electrostatic shielding. Then the third topic you will see about dielectrics and polarization, and if time permits we will see about capacitance. So let us start about electrostatics of conductors. See, we have already studied about the properties of the charge, the Gauss law, their derivation and all this. So from all this together we are going to get the conclusion about what is electrostatic of conductors. The first point is whether you are taking a charged body or you may take a neutral body. Whatever it may be, what type of body you take, electric field inside that body is always a zero. That is the important thing. So what is the conclusion from it? First conclusion or first point, the net electric field inside the charged body or neutral body is always zero. So where you will get your electric field? On the surface or from the surface at a certain distance r. Fine. So that is your first point. Then coming to the second, whenever you are measuring your electric field, it is always measured perpendicular to the surface. Means you need to draw a tangential to the surface, then always your electric field will be perpendicular to the surface. Okay, this is the second thing. Coming to third, whatever your charge you give to the body, they will never reside inside. The charges will be always reside on the outer surface. Even if you take a solid body or even you can take a vacuum body. Like example, you can imagine your football, that is vacuum inside. You can imagine your solid iron ball. In both the case, the charges reside or lies only on the outer surface, not inside. Okay. And coming to electric potential or electrostatic potential or voltage, it is existing inside and on the surface. And if you want to measure at a certain distance also, you can measure it. Voltage or electric potential is same inside and on the surface throughout. But electric field inside it will be a zero. Charges will always lies on the surface. And the net electric field, whatever the surface you take, the electric field for any surface is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. They are the 5 important points are related to your electrostatic of conductors. Just make a note of it. What is your first point? The first point is the E will be 0 inside, provided your body may be charged or you may take a neutral body. Irrespective of that, your electric field will be 0 inside. Next, coming to second is electric field, always the direction it is perpendicular to the surface. Even you can say normal or making 90 degree. Now coming to the third point, your charge always resides on surface. Okay. And fourth is that your potential, electric potential V, it is constant or uniform inside and on the surface. Inside and on the surface throughout. Next, fifth point is your electric field for any surface equal to sigma by epsilon naught n cap, and it is Newton per coulomb or volt per meter unit. So sigma is nothing but your surface charge density. Okay, fine. So there are the 5 important points related to electrostatics of conductors. Now let us see another important concept called as electrostatic shielding. Make the heading electrostatic shielding. Electrostatic shielding. I think all of you heard the term shielding. See, whenever any dispute is there between India Pak or India China or India, Pakistan, what we'll do? Our soldiers will stand on the borders. Then what we used to say for this? Our border is shield. What does it mean? Means our soldiers are protecting our country from the intrusion of the other country peoples. Am I right? So that is shielding or not? Same way here you are making electrostatic shielding. The meaning is whenever we are taking any sensitive electronic device or instrument, then that electric field will always have the property that it will make its own field. Due to that, the other devices should not get disturbed, nor that our own instrument also should not be disturbed by external electric field. So you want to create a shield in such a way that this our devices electric field will not affect other, and other devices electric field will not enter into our device. That is nothing but electrostatic shielding. So in short, I can say that it is a process of protecting the sensitive electrical instrument from external disturbance. So make a note of it. What is electrostatic shielding? It is the process of protecting the sensitive electrical instrument from external disturbance. This is called as electrostatic shielding. So what they used to do to shield the body or the instrument? They just take a cavity. They just take a cavity or a cage-like material, metal cap, and insert the device inside it and close it. Now you'll think what will happen if you keep it inside a metal box. What is the first concept? The electric field inside it will be a zero for any charged body or neutral body. So when it is, you are making a cavity, you are nothing but shielding other electric field. Clear? Then next, see about what is dielectric. Dielectric and related to it polarization. I hope all of you know about dielectric. Dielectric, it is nothing but it is a non-conducting material. Non-conducting material means there will be no free electrons, or even you can say there is negligible amount of free electrons. Fine. So when you give electric field, what will happen? They will start to align themselves or arrange themselves, or you can say they will start to orient themselves in a particular direction, so that we are able to create the dipole moment. And always it is found that whatever we are giving the supply, based on that the dipole starts to align and they generate an electric field which opposes the inbuilt or the earlier given electric field. That is the nature of the newly generated dipole moment due to the dielectric. There are two types of molecules is found inside the dielectric, or dielectrics are basically classified into two types. One is called as polar, the other is called as non-polar. So what is the classification of your dielectric? One is polar, other is non-polar. Now let us see what is the difference between these two, polar and non-polar. In case of polar, always the positive and the negative charges, the center of the positive and negative charges, they will never coincide. Then how they will be? They will be like this. Negative, positive. So they are not coinciding. But coming to polar, they coincide. So here no coincide, here coincides. Center of positive and negative charge. Positive and negative. Here also similarly center of positive and negative, no coincides. Okay. Here, every time, even if you give electric field or not, always there is permanently existing dipole moment. So, second point is nothing but permanently exist dipole moment. Dipole moment, I can write it shortly, P vector, permanently existing dipole moment. But coming to here, when you give the electric field, then only they will align as a dipole. Otherwise, if electric field is 0, the net dipole moment will be 0. So, no permanent dipole moment. No permanent dipole. Then here what will be the example you can give? Your polar, H2O, HCl, etc. Here it is, you can take your H2, O2, etc. Clear? So both types of dielectric materials are used for making to increase the charge density of the conducting plates. Next we are going to see what is the application of the dielectric. Actually it is used as the in-between plates of the capacitor. Okay. So next let us see what do you mean by the definition polarization. Very important. Make the heading polarization. So polarization is nothing but the net dipole moment per unit volume. And what they have found experimental is nothing but your dipole, it is directly depends on the electric field. Okay, so they replace this with a constant that is called as P equal to xi e. This is nothing but your expression of polarization. So what is polarization? The net dipole moment per unit volume. That is called as polarization. Fine. Now what is this xi e? It is called as susceptibility. What it is called as? Susceptibility. Question is not arising in your mind. What is susceptibility? It is nothing but the measure of or the degree of orientation, or it is the measure of the alignment, arrangement, that is called as susceptibility. All materials do not behave equally. Like for example, when teachers are not there, it's obvious that the students will roam inside the classroom. As soon as the teacher enters, most of the students, they aligned, means they sit in their corresponding seats. But few of the students, even after teacher enters also, they don't care. So they don't align or they won't orient themselves according to the situation. So like human being, the nature has also the same thing, some properties, some materials which do not align properly. Even if you give the electric field, some will align very nicely. So it is that property or that measure of orientation which is called as susceptibility. Xi e. Why I am mentioning E? Because while you will study about magnetic field, there is also same susceptibility, but that is belongs to magnetic material. That will be mentioned as Xi B or Xi M. Clear about polarization. Now let us see, I will give you a small introduction about the capacitance. I think all of you heard these terms, capacitor. In your home, sometimes you find your table fan is, your ceiling fan or table fan, they are just going very slow like this. So somebody will tell, hey, that capacitor is very weak, you just replace it, then it will move fast. Am I right? I hope you heard this term. So capacitor is nothing but it is a device which is used to store the charge. And what it consists of? Basically it consists of two conducting plates separated by a small distance d. And that separation always consists of some dielectric. Dielectric does not mean only it should be material. Even R also is a dielectric of permittivity 1. Okay. So make the heading capacitor and capacitance. So what is a capacitor? It is a energy storing device. Energy storing device consists of two plates of conductors separated by a distance d. Separated by a distance d. So how it will be? It will be like this. Two plates of conductors. Let it be your P1. Let it be your plate P2. Okay. And the distance of separation, how it is? It is this distance d. Fine. So what you are going to do? Now give the supply to it. When you give the supply to it, then this plate will become positively charged. Sorry, this will be positively charged, upper one, this will be negatively charged. So this will be plus Q, this will be minus Q. Yes or no? So what you are doing? Whenever you are giving your potential, then electric field will be developed between them. Because the charge will move from one plate to another plate. Okay. So what you will write it? Your supply voltage B is directly proportional to Q. Am I right? And what they have found that it is replaced by a constant K. What is that? K is nothing but your, it is only called as K equal to Q by V. It is only your capacitance Q by V. So it is the ratio of, capacitance is nothing but the ratio of Q by V. Remember, your capacitance C does not depend on the charge, neither on charge nor on voltage. Then on what factors it depends? It depends on the geometrical configuration of the capacitors. Means its shape, size, distance of separation and the medium of dielectric. Okay. Now, what is the unit of capacitance? It is nothing but called as Faraday. The unit of capacitance is Farad. But actually it's a very, very large unit. So only we are going for smaller units, that is practically existing units. What are those? It is in terms of Faraday. Short it is written as F. So we are going for shorter units called as microfaraday, nanofarad, picofarad. So micro is nothing but 10 to the power minus 6, nano 10 to the power minus 9 and pico is nothing but 10 to the power minus 12 microfarad. Okay. So in my next video, I will upload about the derivation of the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor. Then the energy stored in capacitor. Here parallel plate capacitance C equal to epsilon naught A by D. One more thing is that this is when we are doing, we will do the next derivation. Parallel plate capacitor first we will do without dielectric. Means the dielectric is R. Next derivation we will do with the dielectric, whose a dielectric has a strength of K. So by introducing a dielectric, how your capacitance is going to change, whether it's increasing or decreasing. Actually it will increase by a factor of K, where K is the dielectric constant. Then last we will see what is the energy stored in capacitor, that is nothing but your half Cv square or Q square by 2C joule. With that your electrostatic will be wind up. In my next video, I will upload about all the formulas related to your first two chapters, which will be helpful for board students as well as for NEET and JEE students. Okay students, take care, enjoy, have a happy day. Bye-bye.